Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Yomi no Tsugai, Chapter 6. When we last left our heroes, Dara and Hana were worried about whatever Yuru's up to because he does not have a public ID, and so he does not get single-payer healthcare. And they think he might get hurt somehow, and they're wrong. Because he's busy with Jin and his two henchmen, Akio, I think, is the bald one, and Haruo has sort of tortoise and hair. Tsugai, which is this month's chapter title, by the way, so he's going to be important, I bet. And, you know, Sayu-sama come in to help him out, and they generally do a pretty good job. The three of them, along with Yuru, are able to make pretty good work against Jin and his team. Though they realize that even if they had won, it would have all been for naught because Akio is the bald one, I think, or it might be Haruo, I forget. But his Tsugai is so big that it does not fit in the parking garage, so even if they won, they'd still get crushed by the Tsugai. Which puts, you know, despite the fact that Yuru is seemingly able to get the upper hand on Jin, it does end up putting him on the back foot. After Jin and his group realize that Yuru is not really working with the village right now, and they all sort of want to get together. You know, Yuru wants to meet with Asa, they want Yuru to come with them. They have this sort of tense agreement to go back to the Kagemori mansion, and let Yuru finally speak to his sister for the first time since the attack. All the while, Jiro, Hana's dog Tsugai, is watching all of this and will presumably report back to Dara and Hana. So we'll see how all that comes into play right about now. Let's dive right on into Chapter 6, The Tortoise and the Hare. And our picture here is of various members of the Kagemori family, Jin, Asa, Gab, Haruo, and Akio, if I remember their names right. I might be way off their names. And then two folks I don't think we've met before. I don't know. The much-anticipated Volume 1 of Yomi no Tsugai will be released on the 10th of June. The Kagemoris have accepted a temporary truce. And we pick up pretty much where we left off, with this sort of truce being decided. And Yuru tells them, now that's been decided, take me to Asa at once. But Jin stops him, no, we have to clean this place up first. Ai-chan, please help with one more task. And we see Ai is just like swallowing all the discarded weapons from over the course of the fight. And I think this is Akio. I'm actually going to go back and check chapter 5 if I can do it fast. I'm not sure how fast I can find the names. Akio is the bald one. Okay. So Haruo is the one who says here on page 3, Haruo is the one that says scavenger helps clear up messes. And yours is, go, what's that? And Jin fills in, cleaner. Ai-chan can swallow anything. Makoto-kun can regurgitate them at will. Which is where Makoto got the whole host of guns in the middle of last chapter. I feed them all kinds of things in the event of an emergency. And we see Makoto has that sort of like party blow string thing. I forget what it's called, but he's like poking Yuru with. And since they're cleaners, they swallow things I want to erase from the world. It's very handy. If you're into gang fighting, hijacking, or terrorism, just bring Makoto-kun. He won't show up in a body check. There are a lot of unknown terms, but I see... and this is Yuru's line. There are a lot of unknown terms, but I think they're quite handy. So yeah, that's a lot. Jin's just like... You know, if you want to commit a high crime, get Makoto. He'll get you your weapons. Which is it's weird, given all the work that like Arakawa's been doing to paint the Kagemoris as not as evil as they seem. Jin's like just doing a little terrorism. It's fun. And then left turns to Haruo, your Tsugai. Yes. And she looks over at the turtle, that tortoise. How many cons? And we see con is an old unit for measuring weight. One con is about 3.75 kilograms. Which answers Haruo's next question. Con? Oh, I wonder how many kilograms that is. Actually, it is Haruo, right? I know I just went back to check, but I keep forgetting who is who. Haruo. Yes, it is Haruo. I should get their names written down somehow. But anyway, Haruo comments, con. Oh, I wonder how many kilograms that is. And then he turns to left. I never measured them before, but they can get heavier on command. And left sort of looks over at the turtle, and like a show of respect, and turns around. It seems I need to train some more. And Haruo's like heart aflutter there. Whoa, no nonsense, big sis! And Right turns to examine the rabbit. And just glowers at it. And the rabbit gives this little smirk of like, haha, whooped your ass back there. And Right just gets angry. Hey, Yuru, are you good at hunting hares? I use traps to catch hares. Hares make good broth. And the hare just like grabs onto Haruo. Savages! And Akio wonders, can Tsugai even be eaten? And just then a security guard comes in with a flashlight. Anybody here? And he's just sort of there. They're acting like none of this happened. I guess this guy can't really see Tsugai or anything. As Haruo asks, oh, Mr. Security Guard. And Akio says, all the lights suddenly went out. What happened? And he looks up with his flashlight, the lights that aren't working. All the lights have malfunctioned? And Haruo jokingly, he obviously knows what's going on. Questions, electricity leakage? It just went out all of a sudden. It was scary. But the guard is a little, confused. The stairs here have lighting. And it sort of gets back to business. Please exit this way. Sure, thanks for the hard work. They all sort of give this, you can only see the 4 humans. But the whole crew acts all hunky-dory around this guard. Good shit there. But then we cut to Asa, back at the mansion, getting a text on her phone. She goes to read it, and she's eyes dart open as Jin has texted her, I'm with your brother right now. And she just slams awake and starts whacking Gab. Gab-chan, Gab-chan, Gab-chan! And Gab is, Gah! What, an attack? Okay, they share a bedroom. Asa and Gab just have such a fun dynamic. I just love them a whole lot. I really hope that we don't get to, and they're really the villains here or something, because they're just so fun. Anyway, what? An attack? Oh no! And she just holds the phone over to Gab, trembling now. Jin-san is bringing my brother here. For real? He's fast! And Asa just panicking. What to do? What do I wear? I don't know. What's gotten into you? And then we cut back to Jin as Haruo is driving him back to the mansion. This is Jin. Sorry for the late call. The twins of Higashimura. Yes. I managed to reach Yuru-kun. And they're in this tunnel. And Yuru, I guess, has never really seen a tunnel. Because he just wonders, a deep cave. As Jin goes on, talking to the master we see. I'm heading to the mansion with him now. And the master is at a sauna or something. Really? Great job. Can you wait until I'm back? And I think it might be the first time we've really seen the back of the master's head. He's got a weird scar around the back top of his head. But Jin asks, where are you, master? Hot spring. I've just finished a job and was about to take a bath. I'll head home at once. And we see... I guess this is... Okay, so my initial impression is that this giant thing was the Master Tsugai. But I think his Tsugai might actually be these black and white yin-yang spirits floating around him. He might have just killed this giant monstrous Tsugai thing. Little hint at the power he's packing. And we see the other 2 Kagemori members we saw on the cover for this month's chapter. And one of whom is filming the Master. Treat Yuru-kun with all due respect. So again, we see there isn't I suppose all of this sort of kindness could be a trap to get him to lower his guard. But when we see them together, we see them not putting on this show for Yuru. They still seem just as kind then. I don't know. Interesting thing. Either way, they're deeper in the city. Jin comments, we're there. The Kagemori mansion. And they enter the front gate, driving in a sort of wooded entrance to the mansion. And left and right, who are on top of the car, look around and write comments, I heard there were a lot of Tsugai users here. And he leans over to ask Jin, I can't sense any at all. But Jin tells him, they're here. A lot of them. This is the area for the public. And I guess the area, my guess is area is an English word there he's using, and that's why Wright doesn't recognize it. Because area is a generic enough word that I can't imagine it didn't exist 400 years ago. Anyway, right questions, area. And Jin, I guess using Japanese now, responds, a district. We'll enter the ward now. Oh, it's the same sort of ward that Higashimura uses to protect from the Kagemoris. The Kagemoris are also using. Now there's another gate, I guess one without such a large sort of forested area into the manor proper. They drive into a parking lot, and left and right feel this shiver, as I guess they sense the sheer number of Tsugai users here. Whoa. Well, they are here. I can't count how many there are. And we just see like sort of flashing lights inside the mansion, I guess representing them sensing the Tsugai users. And then we cut to Gab's little mini Tsugai. And Gab is like still in her pajamas. Asa we see is like, put on a blazer and like more formal pants. She's out of her pajamas now. A different top. Whole formal wear. Not quite formal wear, but like presentable. Gab is just chilling in her pajamas, still got bedhead everywhere. It seems like Asa's brother has arrived. And Asa just like shoots up. Arrived? Want to come with me, Gab-chan? And Gab is just, I don't want to meet a guy who poked 2 holes in me. Still have trouble walking. And she leans over like her injury from where Yuru shot her. So yeah, Gab is not really on board with meeting Asa right now. But Asa just gives her a last, I'm going. And Gab waves goodbye. Good luck. I'm going to sleep. And then we cut to Jiro, who has been following Yuru and the Kagemoris, and is now here at the Kagemori mansion, and we see Katetsu is still following along on the Google Maps. And I'm guessing that Dara and Hana don't know that's the Kagemori mansion, because Dara's response is just, oh, a large building. And Hana looks over at it, looks like a large piece of land. And Katetsu taps on the screen some more, types out the word Kagemori. And I love the look on their face. Dara and Hana are just like a treasure trove of reactions. The whole like, are you shitting me right now? We're dealing with this now. Not panic, just utter frustration. Hana falls over. He has been caught. But Dara stops her. That's unlikely, since Sayusama's with him. Can't be helped. And he stands up. Daddy'll have to bring his son home. Getting into that role there. And Hana asks, are you taking the car? No. I don't want them to know you're connected to me. I'll take a taxi. How far are they if he's just going to take a taxi all the way to Tokyo? I didn't think they were close to Tokyo here. Might be wrong. Don't know enough about Japanese geography. Because we did learn what prefecture they're in, right? Back in like chapter 3 or 4 or something. Either way, Hana questions, and getting back, the train. I'll teach you about modern society on our way back. But, we'll see how well any of that goes, depending on what happens in the mansion, what Yuru ends up deciding here. But they arrive, back with the Kagemori gang, and Yuru's just stunned. The entry is huge! And Wright mentions, it's like Heijo. Heijo is the capital of Japan in the Nara period. Don't know when the Nara period is, but it would fit with the time period that Wright is from, I'm guessing. And we see these two people who have sort of come to greet them. We get a close-up of like their lantern, as someone says, "You're working very late. How diligent you are, Jin." And it's someone we have not met before. Light hair, this sort of like white coat over traditional robes. There's something about him that just seems sinister. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's tied into like what the master said to Asa a few chapters ago about like, now that Yuru's in play, even other Kagemoris that might be trying to manipulate you. I don't know. We'll have to sort of wait and see what this guy's deal is. But then this is Haruo who says, "Greetings, Asuma-san." So that's his name, Asuma. But Jin seems less happy that he's to see him. Like I get the sense that Haruo is kind of like a flunky. He's just going to sort of say what he has to say. But Jin is more of like, upper echelon of the organization. And there's some kind of rivalry between them. And if Jin is fundamentally a decent person, what we've seen, I'm not sure I trust Asuma. But Jin just comments, why are you here? And Asuma tells him, I heard that one of the twins is here. I've come to welcome him. But Jin comments, I don't remember telling you. Nothing escapes me. Okay. So how would he know? Maybe he has some kind of like observational power or something. But also, the only people who knew before right now are the Master, who I do believe has Asa's best interests at heart, and as a result, maybe has Yuru's best interests at heart too. Yuru, or not Yuru, Asa. For some reason, I keep getting their names mixed up. But Asa, who I trust fully here. Gab, Akio, and Haruo. Either this guy has some observation-based power and this whole wondering is completely unimportant, or one of those five have told him that Yuru's here. And I don't know, I don't want to predict that it's Gab, because Gab's really fun. I don't like this guy already. Maybe it's Akio or Haruo. That's my best bet. That one of them is like secretly in his camp. I'm assuming a lot of things about the dynamics of the Kagemori members. And I could be miles off base here. But just early thoughts. Anyway. Makoto dispenses a pair of crutches for Jin. Oh, you're hurt? But Jin tells him it's not a big deal. Did you have a fight with these people? What splendid-looking Tsugai. And he looks over left and right. I just don't trust him. There is something up with this man. And he turns to Yuru. And you are Asa-san's big brother? I'm Kagemori Asuma. Nice to meet you. And then Asa arrives, running out the entrance. Big brother! And interestingly enough, there's only one other person in this sort of reintroduction panel. And it's Asuma giving Asa the stink eye here. There's just something not right about this man. He's up to something. He has some scheme playing. I don't know what it is, but he's got it. And we see Asa. She's clearly rushed out of the building, out of breath, shocked to see him. And Yuru gives her this glare. I'm not quite sure what's going on in Yuru's mind right now. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And Asa's just, you're not dead? You're alive? And Yuru, what's with this greeting? And Asa, so excited to see her big brother again. Can I give you a hug? And Yuru, again, just does not if I recall correctly, he only agreed to come here because he wanted answers, right? So I don't think he's terribly super trusting of her to the degree that she's trusting of him. Fuck, smelling water a bit. Can I give you a hug? No. And Asa's just head in her hands now. I'm sorry. I don't know how to act. And Yuru snaps, neither do I. I'm not here to cozy up to you. I have something to ask you. And we see Jin, Akio, and Haruo watching this whole slapstick routine go on. Sure, ask me anything. After that, can I give you a hug? I refuse. Wow, my big brother acting aloof is so cool. And then Yuru points towards Jin. Enough with me. You should worry about this guy. He's injured. What? Jin-san, we must get the doctor. And Asuma then comes over. It seems like Asa hasn't realized he's here yet. Since Jin is hurt, why don't I show you around the house? To Yuru, I think, though he seems to be looking at Asa. Again, this guy, I just don't trust him. Huh? You're here, Asuma-san. I think this is Asuma's line. Oh, I've only been looking at Big Brother. But Jin stops Asuma. Yuru-kun is a guest of Asa and I. There's no need for you to do anything. And Asuma sort of nods, sure. Enjoy your visit, Yuru-kun. Again, I do not trust this man as far as I can throw him. Also, interesting motif here. I think he has a moth Tsugai. Because we see, when he's first introduced with the lantern, there's a moth on the lantern, and the moth flies off the lantern. And then as he's turning to leave on page 23, we see the moth again. I think that's important. That feels like Arakawa drawing our attention to the moth. Anyway, the thing about Asuma, this is going to be massive, nearly baseless predictions for series endgame stuff here, which is something to do, not something you should be doing 6 chapters in. But I've been watching Lagrange, this really under the radar mecha from 2012, and he reminds me of the sort of, like, creepy advisor character in that show who ends up being what seems to be maybe the big bad. I've still got 3 episodes left that could change things. But he reminds me of Moid from Lagrange. And I can see him, like maybe he's some, high ranker in the Kagemori hierarchy, but he's not that important. And maybe his goal is, like, wanting to take charge or something. I don't know. I'm making very baseless claims here. I acknowledge that all through the video. But just, stuff to think about this early on. It's, Arakawa's a master mangaka. There's stuff in here that's going to point towards the end game. I'm more than willing to bet. Anyway, as Asuma leaves, Jin is clearly mistrusting him. And he says to Akio, stand guard outside the ward. Don't let anyone in. We'll see what comes. I imagine that might lead to a clash between him and Dara pretty soon. But Akio acknowledges, understood. They say that as they're still watching Asuma leave. Like, it's really important that, like, we don't see him talking to Jin. We see it's him and Haruo. And also Asuma. Which is interesting. I don't know. Either way, Jin then turns to Yuru. Big brother, don't leave my side inside the house. You'll get lost. And Yuru sort of nods his head. That seems like maybe there's some magic in the mansion? Like, that seems really important for... Or the detail you'll get lost is really minor for how important that panel is framed. I don't know. Interesting thing. Either way, we're now with the doctor. The doctor that like Jin's gone to like a family doctor. Oh, we'll have to stitch you up. Huh? Really? A hatchet? A hatchet. So it feels like we're missing half the conversation here for some reason. I don't know. But the doctor tells him, I was wondering what happened for you to call me up this time of the night. You've been injured by a youth with a hatchet. Teenagers are scary these days. And Yuru's just in the room. It's really unclear if, like, she's aware that they're talking about Yuru. But Jin comments, I don't think normal teenagers wave hatchets around. But Yuru comments, really? All boys should have a hatchet or two. I said it before, I'll say it again. I love the, like, Yuru is completely unfamiliar with the modern world gags. It's like, as iconic as the Ed is short gags were, those were largely, like, the same gag every time. But making this series' principal gag, Yuru does not understand the modern world, allows for much more variety in the gag. It's really, really funny. And Asa agrees, of course. And Haruo is just, these siblings are savages. And then Jin pulls out the vial he used to trap Yuru. Doctor, I should return this. Asa-san's blood. And the doctor tells him, don't walk around with this. It's unsanitary. But Yuru is just stunned. Blood? What devils are you to take blood from a living girl? But Asa stops him. They just drew my blood. I suggested it. Oh, because they didn't really, like, draw blood in the way that we do nowadays 400 years ago. I guess he thought they, like, cut Asa open and got some blood. And Asa tells him, we can draw blood without cutting open vessels in modern medicine. And Asa is just, like, stunned, as are left and right. Huh? What? Witchcraft? But Jin stops him. Her blood was drawn here in the clinic. Use this prick and draw blood. If one does it well, it doesn't hurt. What's wrong with medicine? And Haruo is just sitting there. It's all right to stab people, but not to draw blood? I don't understand their values. And Asa tells him, and the Kagemori is giving me a lot to eat, so losing a bit of blood is nothing. Can I give you a hug, big brother? And Asa just like, Asa tries to get that in there, and Yuru cuts her off. No! And hey, you're so tall! Asa should be smaller and cuter! Because of course he's familiar with the Asa that had bad nutrition. If big brother eats the food here, you'll grow taller too. And Yuru questions, isn't the food of the lower lands pretty salty? Really? It's very flavorful. Because Yuru, of course, doesn't understand, is a new experience for him here. As Asa's just, I'm already used to the food here. But Yuru's like, I'm satisfied with what I've got. Rice is delicious. Really delicious. But I'm not here to talk about food. And Asa's just, yeah, isn't there something you want to ask me about? When you're done, can I give you a hug? And Yuru cuts her off again. I'll compliment you on your perseverance. I'll compliment you on your perseverance. And Haru's just like having a time here. They're really in tune with each other. And Yuru got to the point he got to back in chapter 3, when he realized that like maybe his parents were alive. And he gets right up in Asa's face. Where are our parents? And Asa's just shocked. And maybe they're already dead. That's the sense I get. Like he's brought up a bad memory. Let me see them. Didn't you escape the village with them? And Asa kind of looks down. Yeah. And Asa cuts him off. They're not here. And Yuri sort of freezes up there. Where? And Asa cuts him off again. Missing. I don't know where they are. And then we cut to Jin, who is watching this thinking about something. I'm not quite sure what his thoughts are here. Maybe could he have something to do with it? I don't know. But Yuru's stunned to realize his one lead is sort of gone. And Jin asks her, how much do you want to tell him? Everything. I don't want to lie to my big brother. And then Jin then says, a lot of things happened after your brother left the village. It was a little after they accepted the Kagemori's protection. I'm assuming he's saying, that's supposed to say his sister, it's a translation error, I think. Because, if this happened shortly after Yuru left the village, that just happened. It makes more sense if he means sister and he's talking to Yuru, I think. When they settled down, your mother wanted to go back to her hometown. And Yuru comments, oh right, mother was originally from the lower lands. She said she wanted to take me there. And Jin comments, your mother is from Okinawa. And Asa fills in, Okinawa is an island far south from here. You can't reach it unless by plane or boat. And Yuru's just plane? You call them dragons in the village. Oh, he hasn't quite learned what planes are yet, despite despite having seen them before. It's a method of transportation. It can transport over 100 people. Mother was registered as a missing person after she disappeared in the northeast mountains. She wanted her parents in her hometown to know she was all right. So they gave me to the care of the Kagemoris and got on a plane to Okinawa and disappeared. Okay. That's interesting. They got on the plane, disappeared. Because if it might be Higashimura that did it. That's my go-to theory. Is that if their mother goes back to Okinawa and tells her family where she's been the past several years, that puts a spotlight on Higashimura. And that's what the Higashimurans don't want. They don't want to be known by the outside world. So maybe they, got rid of their parents? I don't know. I just don't know. Did the plane crash? No. They disappeared from within the plane. They got on the plane in Tokyo, but they weren't on the plane when it landed in Okinawa. Okay. So it's not like they got to Okinawa and they were maybe killed. They just vanished. Were they kidnapped by someone? I don't know. Was no one guarding them? There was. And Jin cuts in here. A trusted Tsugai user of the Kagemori family was assigned their guard. The guard also disappeared. Okay, there's something going on here. And honestly, my first suspect is the granny back in Higashimura. Maybe Asuma. I just don't trust him. He's up to something. But I think it's the granny. That guard is suspicious. Yes, you're right. They may have been an enemy masquerading as an ally. A member of Higashimura who infiltrated the Kagemoris. Asa gets right at what I was suspecting. And Jin comments, be they enemy or ally, I'm very sorry. We are to blame. And Yuru just snaps at Asa. Our parents are missing and you still trust these people? But Asa tells him, after escaping the village, many assassins tried to take my life. In the end, it was the master of the Kagemoris and Jin-san who saved me. I trust the Kagemoris. And then we cut to, Asa's fierce faith in the Kagemoris. We see Haruo's sort of weird expression. He's just, maybe just a little uncomfortable. Because, this is a personal family conversation. He is not important enough to be here. And Jin looks down in shame. And Yuru is just angry. He's not quite sure who he's angry at yet, I think. But he's angry at someone. And then we cut to black, and there's someone talking. I'm guessing Asuma. The kid has entered the Kagemori mansion. Jin has done a great job. First pair of twins divided by morning night in 4 centuries. 4 centuries, 4 centuries, 4 centuries. The twins are both in the lower lands. The girl who uses the jaws is hurt and can't move well. So is Jin. The master isn't home. So once in a lifetime chance, we'll seize the twins. Really? The boy has Tsugai who looks strong. And the girl, and the girl, and the girl. It's nighttime. She's stronger in the morning. Okay, so it seems to be like, maybe not just Asuma, but the faction the master returned to that might go after, the twins. The boy, well, we'll kill him now. And the girl, we only need her head. And it seems like left and right hear that. And left snaps open a curtain, and we see these sort of yin and yang Tsugai that are very similar to what we saw from the Master. Except they're a bit more defined. Like, the Master Tsugai didn't have arms, if these are his Tsugai. I don't know. But these are much more yin and yang than the guys we saw earlier. And they smash into the doctor's clinic. Right goes to defend the 3 humans. And we hear the crash, the explosion. And Gab's mini Tsugai goes to pull on her hair. Huh? And she wakes up. What? It's still dark. And we see these 2 horse-looking dudes leaning into Gab's bedroom. And Gab is just ready to go. Oh, I haven't seen you before. Next time, new Tsugai attacking. Okay, lots of fun here. Not a terribly action-heavy chapter. At least until those last minutes. But there's a lot of build-up here. A lot of first sort of lore giving or backstory giving to Yuru about their parents. And also just sort of introducing more Kagemori characters. Asuma, I don't trust Asuma one single bit. He is up to something. Maybe one of these pairs are his Tsugai. I don't know. I just don't know. But again, back to Higashimura, we're just constantly getting more and more information that heavily implicates Higashimura as just being really fucked up. And it's still a little bit unclear what exactly the goal is here. What exactly, Higashimura and the Kagemoris are fighting. And somehow the twins play into that. But it's unclear how the twins play into that quite yet. There's definitely something going on, but what that is still remains to be seen. But we're only 6 chapters into a series I imagine will go on for several years, and so there's plenty of time for that to get worked out in the future. All in all, there's a lot of really good sort of character beats here. The writing on this series has not gotten worse. From last month to this, there's a lot of funny bits. From Haruo's hair mocking right to Asa's pure excitement at realizing her brother's coming. Her whole vibe with Gab is fun. And then there's the fact that Dara's on his way that will definitely shake up the dynamics here. Though, unless of course he's stopped by Akio Tsugai outside. Because, outside his Tsugai has, full reign. And then we have whatever the fuck Asuma's doing. The reveal about the parents. And now there's an enemy here. Back to fighting. Some force inside the Kagemoris are not as helpful to Yuru and Asa as Jin and the Master are. So we'll see. We'll see what all comes of this. I don't know. Lots to get excited for. Lots of good stuff, here in the present. It's not all good stuff coming later. It's some good character work, some good humor, some good drama right here and now. And I can't wait to see how all this plays off in the distant future. I don't think we'll get answers about the parents until a long, long time from now. At first I thought maybe, like, if they had gotten off the plane and then disappeared, it'd be sort of like the thing in Place Further in the Universe, where, like, everyone knows that the girl's mom is dead, but she keeps refusing to believe it until she finally finds the proof. Like, maybe it'd be going for a storyline like that, but the fact that they disappeared on the plane is very suspicious. So that will be a plot thread I imagine will stick around for a long time. Hold up. Here's the thing. Okay. On 33, right before Asa gives her theory, the member of Higashimura infiltrated the Kagemoris, and that's who stole their parents, there's the bit about that guard is suspicious. And Asa responds, yes, you're right. They may have been an enemy masquerading as an ally. As the panel there is randomly just Haruo. And, unless Asuma has some observation-based Tsugai ability, there are only 5 people who could have told him. And Asa sure as hell ain't doing it. And I don't think it's the Master. And I don't think it's Gab either. Because she went right back to sleep. So it was really one of the 2 bodyguards I think is working for Asuma. And I think it's Haruo. The way he's framed right there, he is an enemy masquerading as an ally. That's my theory. But still, we'll deal with that eventually, because for now, Tsugai that are definitively not Haruo's are here. Both attacking the twins and Gab. And I can't wait to see what comes of that. It'll be another long month waiting to see what comes next for the series, because Tsugai is just so good every single month. Arakawa really is one of the greatest manga of all time, and she shows it every single time. And I can't wait to see what she throws at us next. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!